Your mind is a storyteller, and sometimes it's a little too good at its job. It replays old mistakes like they're on loop. It rehearses conversations that never happen. It analyzes every detail of every choice until you're so tangled in thoughts that you forget how to live. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Overthinking is one of the most common ways we drain our energy, cloud our intuition, and miss the beauty of the present moment. But here's the truth. You can't think your way out of overthinking. The mind won't quiet itself just because you tell it to. You need to invite it into stillness, and that's where spiritual practice comes in. Across centuries, sages, monks, and mystics have passed down simple, powerful ways to anchor the mind. Not to suppress thoughts, but to soften their grip. Not to empty the mind, but to make space for peace. In this video, we'll explore 9 spiritual practices that help you step out of the storm in your head and into the calm of the present moment. Some are rooted in ancient wisdom. Some you can start in less than a minute. All of them will help you feel more spacious inside no matter what's happening around you. So, take a breath, loosen your shoulders, and let's begin. Practice 1. Mindful breathing as an anchor when the mind is in overdrive. It's like a restless ocean, waves of thoughts crashing over and over. Mindful breathing is not about stopping the waves. It's about finding the anchor that keeps you steady while they move around you. In Buddhist tradition, the breath is considered both a teacher and a friend. It's always there, always honest, always present. When we learn to meet it fully, it becomes a refuge from mental noise. Why it works neurologically: when you bring full attention to your breathing, your nervous system shifts gears. You activate the parasympathetic branch, the rest and digest mode. This signals to your brain that there is no immediate threat, softening the fight or flight response. Your heart rate slows. Your muscles release their tension. Your mind, no longer flooded with stress hormones, can begin to quiet. Step-by-step method 1. Set your posture. Sit or stand comfortably, with your spine tall but relaxed. Let your shoulders soften and your jaw unclench. 2. Bring awareness to the breath. Notice your natural breathing without changing it. Where do you feel it most: in your nose, chest, or belly? 3. Begin gentle counting. Inhale to the count of 4. Pause for a moment, 1 or 2 counts. Exhale to the count of 6. Repeat for several rounds. 4. Anchor your mind. If thoughts arise, don't fight them. Just gently return your attention to the count and the feeling of the breath. 5. Deepen the practice with each inhale. Imagine breathing in calm, clarity, and light. With each exhale, release tension, worry, and heaviness. Short guided exercise: 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Inhale deeply through the nose for 4 counts. Hold briefly. Exhale slowly for 6 counts. Repeat, keeping your focus on the physical sensations of the breath. Even 2 minutes of mindful breathing can change your internal state. It's not about escaping your mind, it's about learning how to stay present inside it, without being carried away. Practice 2. Single task presence, the art of doing one thing well. Overthinking thrives in chaos. It feeds on a crowded schedule, constant multitasking, and the endless switching between tabs, both on your devices and in your head. Single task presence is the antidote. It's the deliberate choice to do one thing at a time, with your full attention. Why it works psychologically: and you split your attention. Your brain is actually context switching. Every switch comes with a mental reload, cost-draining focus, and increasing stress. Over time, this creates a baseline of mental noise. By single tasking, you reduce the static in your mind. You give your nervous system the rare gift of completeness. And that stillness inside, that's where overthinking loses its grip. How to practice single task presence: 1. Choose your one thing. It could be washing the dishes, writing an email, drinking tea, walking in your neighborhood. 2. Clear the field. Put away your phone, mute notifications, close other tabs, remove visual clutter if possible. 3. Bring in your senses. Notice the colors, textures, and smells. Feel the temperature. Hear the smallest sounds. 4. Move slowly, deliberately. Let your actions be unhurried. Treat this as a ritual, not a task. 5. Return when distracted. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to this one thing. Everyday exemplizating. Savor each bite without scrolling your phone. Conversation. Listen without rehearsing your response. Work. Finish one email before starting the next. Spiritual perspective in Zen practice. There's a saying, when walking, walk. When eating, eat. The point is not efficiency, it's intimacy with the present. Single task presence doesn't just quiet the mind, it deepens your relationship with life. You begin to see that every small act, when done with awareness, becomes a form of meditation. Practice 3. The noting technique. Stepping out of the thought spiral. Overthinking often feels like a tangled ball of string. The more you try to solve it, the tighter it knots. The noting technique, rooted in Buddhist Vipassana meditation, is a simple but profound way to untangle the mind without force. What noting means: when a thought, feeling, or sensation arises, instead of engaging with it, you simply name it in your mind. Thinking, worrying, planning, remembering, judging. You don't have to change it, push it away, or follow it. You just acknowledge it and return to your anchor, usually the breath. Why it works. Noting interrupts your identification with thoughts. You stop being in the thought and start being aware of the thought. It's like stepping from the stage into the audience. You suddenly see the play instead of being lost in it. This gentle distance is what breaks the loop of overthinking. How to practice Sekos. A quiet space. It comfortably. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice the distraction when your mind drifts. Label the type of thought. Worrying, planning, remembering. Turn to the breath after noting. Come back to the inhale and exhale. Repeat without judgment. If you note the same thought type 100 times, that's fine. Example, in real life you're working, and suddenly, you're thinking about tomorrow's meeting. You silently say to yourself, planning. You let the thought dissolve and return to your task. This can be used anywhere: at your desk, on a walk, or before bed. Spiritual insight. Buddha taught that awareness of mental states is key to liberation. By naming your thoughts, you create a gap where freedom can enter. You're no longer trapped in the storm, you're watching the clouds pass. Practice 4. Grounding through the body. Returning to the present through sensation. When your mind is loud, your body is often silent. It's not that your body disappears, it's that your attention has left it entirely, pulled up into the swirling orbit of thoughts. Grounding is the art of bringing your awareness back down into your hands, your feet, your breath, so that you can meet life from a steady place. Why grounding works. Body can only be here now. It doesn't replay the past or rehearse the future. When you anchor your awareness to physical sensations, you cut the fuel line that feeds overthinking. Your mind may still chatter, but your focus will rest on something real and stable. How to practice grounding. 1. The 5-4-3-2-1 method. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This engages all your senses, pulling you back into direct contact with reality. 2. Barefoot walking. Step onto grass, sand, or earth. Feel every detail: the temperature, the texture, the pressure under each foot. 3. Hand immersion. Place your hands under cold running water. Pay attention to the shifting sensations: the temperature, the movement, the weight of the water. A spiritual perspective in Buddhism. Mindfulness of the body, Vipassana, is one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. It's not just about calming down, it's about remembering you are more than your thoughts. When to use grounding. Before an important conversation, during anxiety or panic, while stuck in repetitive thinking. At the start of your meditation practice, to settle the mind. Grounding doesn't erase your thoughts, it changes your relationship with them, so instead of floating away into mental noise, you stay rooted in the still ground of now. Practice 5. Breath counting meditation. A numbered path to mental clarity. When your thoughts run wild, they often feel like an endless tangle. Breath counting offers a single, simple thread one you can hold on to until your mind settles. It's not about suppressing thoughts, it's about giving your attention a gentle, repetitive rhythm so it can rest. Why breath counting works. Breathing is the bridge between the body and the mind. When you consciously regulate it, even in the smallest way, you send a signal to your nervous system that says, it's safe to calm down. By pairing the breath with numbers, you give the mind a structure that is both soothing and stabilizing. How to practice breath counting. 1. The basic cycle: inhale, count, 1 exhale, count 2, inhale, 3 exhale, 4, continue up to 10, then start over at 1. 2. If you lose count, don't scold yourself. The moment you notice you've wandered, gently return to 1. That moment of noticing is the practice, it's the muscle of mindfulness strengthening. Tips for depth and presence: breathe naturally. Don't force deep breaths unless it feels comfortable. Keep your count silent in your mind. Let the numbers fall into the background as you start to feel the rhythm. A spiritual perspective in Zen practice. This is called susakuken, counting the breaths. It's a gateway to deeper meditation, training the mind to stay with one thing, one moment, without scattering. When to use breath counting before sleep: to quiet mental chatter during stressful waiting periods at the start of a workday, to set focuses a reset after emotional overwhelm. Breath counting is deceptively simple, but its power lies in that simplicity. It reminds you that the mind doesn't always need more thoughts to solve itself. Sometimes it needs fewer. Practice 6. Loving kindness meditation. Metta, turning the mind toward warmth. Overthinking often traps you in loops of self-criticism, worry, and replaying conversations that didn't go as planned. Metta, the ancient Buddhist practice of loving kindness meditation, shifts that mental habit by replacing it with intentional goodwill, both toward yourself and others. Why loving kindness works when the mind is stuck? It's usually because it's turned inward on itself in a narrow, self-protective way. Metta expands your awareness outward, softening the grip of anxious thoughts. It changes the tone of your thinking from harsh to compassionate. The core phrase while sitting quietly: breathe slowly and repeat silently to yourself: may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful, may I live with ease. Once you've repeated these for yourself, extend them to others. May you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be peaceful, may you live with ease. The sequence of focus traditionally moves through 4 circles: yourself, a loved onia, neutral persona, difficult person, all beings everywhere. This progression helps dissolve barriers between self and other, replacing judgment with a steady kindness. Tips for practice: see if the words feel flat at first. That's fine, keep going. Don't force an emotional reaction. The intention is enough. If thinking of a difficult person feels triggering, choose someone only mildly challenging at first. When to use metta after conflict: to soften linger anger during times of self-doubt. When you feel disconnected from humanitas, a bedtime ritual for peaceful sleep. Practice 7. Walking meditation, calming the mind through movement. For many people, sitting still when their mind is racing can feel like torture. Walking meditation offers an alternative, a way to bring mindfulness into motion, allowing the body's rhythm to soothe the mind. Why walking meditation helps: overthinking often has a physical component: tense shoulders, shallow breathing, restlessness. When you walk slowly and intentionally, you connect your mind to your body's pace, naturally slowing both. How to begin: your path. Find a quiet, safe place where you can walk undisturbed, indoors or outdoors. A short path you can walk back and forth works well. Set your posture: rest in tall but relaxed. Let your arms hang loosely or clasp them gently in front of you. Focus on the steps as you walk. Mentally label each movement: lifting, moving, placing, breathing with the steps. 1 breath for each step, or match 2 or 3 steps per inhale or exhale. Let your breathing find a natural rhythm without forcing it. What to do with thoughts when your mind drifts: notice it gently, then return to the feeling of walking. Don't try to push thoughts away. Simply anchor your awareness back to the body. When to practice: during a work break, to reset your mind after tense conversation. When sitting meditation feels too agitating. Tip: if walking slowly feels strange at first, start at a comfortable pace and gradually slow down. The goal isn't to get somewhere, it's to be in each step. Walking meditation reminds you that peace is not always found in stillness. Sometimes it's found in gentle, mindful movement. Practice 8. Mindful journaling, emptying the mind onto the pages. Sometimes the mind feels like a crowded room, every thought shouting for attention, every worry pacing back and forth. Mindful journaling is the practice of letting those thoughts spill out, so the mind can breathe again. Why mindful journaling works? Overthinking often loops the same thoughts again and again. Writing them down disrupts that loop. On paper, thoughts are no longer swirling invisibly. They have a shape, a place to rest. Once you see them, you can release them. How to practice? Create a quiet space somewhere you won't be interrupted. Keep your journal and pen ready, or use a simple document if you prefer typing. Set a time limit, 5-10 minutes to start. This keeps you from drifting into over-analysis. Write without editing. Don't worry about grammar or structure. Let the words flow exactly as they come, without censoring. Focus on the present moment. Write what you're feeling right now. If your mind wanders to the past or future, gently return to this moment. Mindful journaling prompts: what am I feeling in my body right now? If my thoughts had colors, what would they be? What do I need to let go of today? After you write or read back what you've written slowly, notice patterns or phrases that carry strong emotions. Take a deep breath, and if it feels right, close the journal, knowing you've made space inside yourself. Tip: if your journal starts turning into a to-do list or self-critique, pause. Return to describing sensations, emotions, and the present moment. Mindful journaling is like clearing the clutter from a room. You create space for calm, clarity, and gentle insight. Practice 9. Compassion meditation. Softening the edges of the mind. Overthinking often has a hidden root: self-criticism. We replay conversations, judge ourselves harshly, or anticipate failure because deep down, we believe we're not enough. Compassion meditation, also known as metta bhavana in Buddhist tradition, dissolves that harshness. It teaches the mind to meet itself and others with kindness, instead of constant critique. Why compassion meditation works? When we overthink, we usually over-focus on flaws, mistakes, and what could go wrong. Compassion meditation redirects the mind toward goodwill. It creates an emotional climate where harsh self-talk can't survive. How to practice? Settle and sit comfortably with your eyes closed. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Begin with yourself. Silently repeat: may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Extend to someone you love. Picture a friend, family member, or mentor. Repeat: may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. Extend to a neutral person, someone you know, but have no strong feelings for. Offer them the same phrases. Extend to someone difficult without forcing affection. Wish them peace. This step softens tension and releases mental knots. Extend to all beings. Imagine the goodwill radiating outward to everyone, everywhere. Tips for beginners: if saying the words feels fake, that's okay. The practice works even when it feels mechanical at first. Start small. Even 2 minutes a day can shift your mental tone. The shift you'll notice over time. Compassion meditation melts the self-judgment that fuels overthinking. Your thoughts may still come, but they'll have softer edges. Instead of spiraling into criticism, you'll meet them with understanding and let them pass. With this final practice, you now have 9 spiritual tools to quiet the overthinking mind, each one a way to anchor yourself in the present, dissolve mental noise, and find the stillness you've been craving.